The front door slammed open so hard it bounced off the wall, making the family photos rattle in their frames. A woman in her 50s stormed into my kitchen like a tornado of righteous fury, her face twisted with rage. She brandished a clipboard like it was a weapon. The pin on her blazer gleamed in the afternoon sunlight pouring through my windows. Willowbrook HOA president. "This is your third violation this month," she shrieked, her voice sharp enough to slice glass. "Your grass is half an inch too tall. Your garbage cans were visible for 37 minutes after pickup. And don't even get me started on that eyesore of a mailbox." I stood frozen in the doorway, coffee mug still in hand, watching this stranger march through my home like she owned the deed. She ran a finger along my countertop like a drill sergeant inspecting for dust, then had the audacity to open my fridge and sneer at the contents. "Excuse me," I said, keeping my voice calm though adrenaline was starting to surge. "You need to leave. Now." She spun around, blonde bob whipping over her shoulder. "I am Karen Thompson, president of the Willowbrook HOA. I have every right to inspect properties for compliance." When she reached for my phone on the counter, probably to snap photos of some imaginary violation, I stepped in. Years of police training kicked in, and I used the same calm authority that had diffused hundreds of tense situations. "Ma'am," I said, "you've just committed a felony." 3 weeks earlier, I'd moved into what I thought would be a peaceful suburb. After 2 decades on the force, I was ready to relax, maybe grow tomatoes and enjoy weekend barbecues. "I'm Detective James Morrison, retired, commended. Tired of chasing monsters and just wanting peace." But Karen Thompson had other ideas. From day one, she targeted me. The mailbox? 2 inches too low, she claimed. An oil stain on the driveway, a tiny one, barely visible. Violated subsection 12.4 of the HOA code, she said. She even insisted my American flag was the wrong shade of blue. I tried to be polite, nodded, let her rattle off her grievances. Neighbors warned me. "That's just Karen," they'd say with exhausted sighs. "She treats the HOA like a military dictatorship." I'd handled worse. One power-tripping HOA president didn't scare me. Until the barbecue incident. I invited a few neighbors over for burgers, some music, low volume, done by 8 p.m. Karen showed up at 6:30 sharp with a tape measure, triumphantly declaring my grill was 4.7 feet from the property line. Regulations required 5. After that, it turned into psychological warfare. Then came the Facebook group. Karen made it just to publicly shame me. She photoshopped images of my lawn to make it look like a desert. Neighbors I hadn't even met began offering unsolicited opinions about the color of my shutters. That afternoon, I'd been in the backyard, repairing some warped fence boards after the rain. Therapeutic work. I had on my noise-canceling headphones, classic rock drowning out the world. I didn't hear her enter. She'd seen me hauling lumber, noticed the front door was unlocked. She took that as an invitation. She crept in like a burglar. Though in her twisted logic, she probably thought of herself as some kind of compliance officer. Her flats made no sound on the hardwood as she invaded my space. When I finally came inside for a drink, what I saw made my stomach clench. Karen stood at my dining table, snapping photos of my mail, bills, personal letters, even a birthday card for my mother, fanned out like criminal evidence. Kitchen drawers were open. A private notebook on my counter flipped through. She'd even taken pictures of my wall calendar. "What exactly do you think you're doing?" I asked, my voice cold and firm. The same one I used in interrogations. She barely flinched. "I'm conducting a lawful HOA inspection. You've been reported. I have the authority to investigate." "No," I said. pulling out my phone and hitting record. "You have zero authority to enter my house without consent. That's breaking and entering. It's trespassing. Depending on what you photographed, possibly identity theft." She laughed, a harsh bark. "Don't be ridiculous. The HOA charter gives me full inspection rights. It's perfectly legal." "Really?" I smiled. "Show me the section that says you can walk into someone's home uninvited." "I'll wait." Her face flushed as she flipped through her clipboard. "It's implied. How else am I supposed to ensure compliance? From the sidewalk like everyone else." Then I reached into my wallet. "Let me show you something." When I flipped open my badge, the blood drained from her face. "Detective James Morrison," it read, with my badge number and the city seal. "You're a cop?" she whispered. 20 years, I confirmed. "And that security camera," I pointed to the corner of the living room, "has been recording since you walked in. So has the one in the kitchen. And the one out front that caught you entering." Her clipboards. Karen collapsed into a chair, pale and trembling. "Please," she begged, voice cracking. "This will ruin me. I have a reputation, a business." "You should have thought of that before you broke into a cop's house," I said. Sirens wailed in the distance. Karen heard them too and made one final plea. "I'll resign. I'll forgive every violation. I'll pay for your new fence." "You're not getting it," I said as 2 uniformed officers arrived at the door. "This isn't about HOA violations anymore. This is criminal." I showed the footage to Officer Martinez, who shook his head in disbelief. He turned to Karen. "Ma'am, please stand and place your hands behind your back." "You can't arrest me!" she shrieked. "I know the mayor! My husband's a lawyer!" "None of that matters," he said as he cuffed her. "You're under arrest for criminal trespass and unlawful entry." The metallic click of the cuffs echoed through the room. "This is outrageous!" she howled. "It's his word against mine!" "Actually," I said, holding up my phone, "it's your actions. On HD video." The whole neighborhood was outside now. People on porches, lawns, sidewalks, watching. Mrs. Chen from 2 doors down started a slow clap. Bob from across the street raised a beer. As Karen was led to the cruiser, still ranting about lawsuits and revenge, someone muttered, "About damn time." The DA reviewed my footage and took statements from neighbors. The charges were airtight: criminal trespass, unlawful entry, and attempted identity theft. Her husband tried to negotiate a plea deal. The prosecutor declined. 2 months later, Karen stood in court as the judge handed down the sentence. 1 year of probation, $5,000 in fines, and 200 hours of community service. But the legal penalty paled in comparison to the social fallout. The HOA held an emergency meeting the next day. Unanimous vote. Removed from office. Her neighbors took turns telling stories. Years of intimidation and abuse. Her real estate firm fired her within the week. The local paper ran the headline, "HOA president arrested for breaking into officer's home. Booking photo included." Karen wept silently in the courtroom as the judge finished reading the sentence. The self-appointed tyrant of Willowbrook, the woman who ruled with tape measures and all-caps notices, was finally stripped of her power. Justice, at last, had a clipboard of its own.